Good afternoon for those of you on the East Coast, and good morning for everybody else. It's 12:01, and I'm Chris McDonald, and we're going to start into our timer tip Tuesday for 20 minutes at 12 o'clock Eastern. I think as many T's as we could fit into it. Just like the last week, I do have some slides. I don't think going through the slide deck is going to be the most effective way, but we do have some to jump back to if there's any specific questions. So I'm going to start off on the slides. I have a video. I have a suggestion for some of you that want to use WebCheckin in terms of something to buy off of Amazon, and then we'll jump into like actual use of the dynamic bib assignment. So just so we're on the same page about dynamic bib assignment, some people get confused for the difference between auto assignment and dynamic assignment. Dynamic assignment is when you do not have the bib numbers assigned in advance. So the first person that walks up gets the first bib. They don't necessarily have to get bib number 1. They could get bib number 333. It's whichever one you pick up. So I just wanted to clarify that before we got started. Yeah, auto assignment is, as people register, their bib numbers are assigned. So as we talked about last week, where do I find bib assignment from your dashboard? Just go into Go Race Day, bibs, assign bibs and chips. And with that, the web check-in function is assigned through quick participant report, or now there is a super slick button that is Race Day Check-in. And so you have the mobile app and the web check-in. So actually, we're just going to live on this screen for now. If we do need to go back into slides, we can do that. Let's see. So the mobile app. On your desktop, the only thing that you're going to do, or actually within the browser on, if you're working on a mobile device, the only thing that's going to be changed here is actually turning on your check-in app. And so we went through check-in app settings and things like that, or we've been through this before. We'll do more on like the check-in app itself on another timer tip Tuesday. So for right now, all you need to know is that on this race day check-in and going into your mobile app, you have a password hint. I always make mine super difficult, and enabling the check-in at a certain time and disabling it. So you save those settings. This is already saved, so it's no big deal. And that allows the check-in app to show up within the race day check-in app when you're searching for your event. And we'll get to the app in a second. So then secondary, all other settings for the app are done within the app. So the other way of getting into a dynamic bib check-in setting is under web check-in. So we're going to start in web check-in. We'll move over into the app. So web check-in has gotten a bit of a facelift in case you haven't seen it recently. And we'll do a whole nother timer tip Tuesday on how to do the web check-in app settings. Probably spend 20 or 30 minutes at least on these settings. So just a couple of quick things here. This little link is to set up remote links. So you can share these across other devices. So someone doesn't have to be set up in a RunSignup account. So all you would have to do is copy and paste this onto another browser and you can remotely revoke these settings. You can use all current columns, or you can customize the links. In terms of if you're on your own computer and you want to give somebody else access to it, you can hit this lock function and you can launch it in safe mode so they don't have all back-end access to your event. But again, we'll go through this in greater detail. So what here we want to show is whatever you need to see. This is how to configure your web check-in settings. And then you can, here at the bottom, the default report, you can save this as the default. So personally, right now, I just want to see age, event, gender, t-shirt, and in the columns, I want to show bib number. I also want to see if they're checked in, and I want to see all specific events. So we're just gonna, I haven't changed anything. I'm gonna update the report. And as you can see, there's a bunch of really fun people. They're the same people if you tuned in last week. Same people in there. We added a couple more people just because I added in a test 5K and a fun run, just so we had more events to play around with. So if you go in on this page and we just choose, I'm just choosing some random person, we'll choose Mr. F. You can manually check this person in by just clicking the edit check-in button. And let's say you just hand them bib number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can type that in right there. And you can either also click this participant is checked in, or you can click the check-in and save. So now you can see this person is checked in. We dynamically assigned, we handed that person bib number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're checked in. So if we go back into our participants, again, this is bib number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for FFF. We go into view participants, and we scroll down. We see this person is assigned this bib. So that makes sense, I think, to everyone. That is a way to, again, if you don't have QR codes or you don't have barcodes or you don't have a scanner, that is how you can check somebody in via WebCheckin. You can set it up so that once someone is checked in, they're removed. That way, if it's a bigger event, you don't have as many people in here. There's also search functions within this WebCheckin, so you can search and use this right here. So I think what most of you are interested in, because that's fairly simple, and I'm going to be using like several different media types to try to make this this show up. So you're going to see me with my iPhone in my hand trying to video at the same time, so you can see. So there's the camera on my iPhone. And what I have is I have a scanner. And then I have some registration forms that a participant would print out. And then I have some bibs that also have QR codes. So we're going to see if I can make all of this work. And if you're looking for the scanner, I pulled it up. This is the scanner I purchased. It does work fairly well. It's the OBT 6801. I'm sure there's plenty of others that can be used. It does plug in via USB. They make ones that are wireless, Bluetooth. When I'm on site, I just feel like things being plugged in make me feel a little bit more comfortable. One less thing to break. So we'll go back into our participants. And so what we're going to do here is your cursor does have to be in the reg ID field. So I'm going to pick up the scanner, and I'm going to scan this, and this scanner a little old. So I think on here you saw that it scanned the reg ID, which if I don't, yep, there's your reg ID right here. And so it put it into here. And so now it auto sits on the bib number. So now I'm going to take this same scanner and I'm going to scan that, bib number 1001. And so again, it just checked in this person, this sample person. So you see the person's name. We scanned this in the reg ID field here. And then all we had to do was take our scanner and scan this, which assigns to 1001. So if you want to get back and see everyone at this point, all you have to do is click the search button and it backs out. Otherwise, you can stay in the reg ID field and we will have handed bib number 1001 to someone, so it's gone now. And now we have another one sitting here. And so we will now, again, we're still in the reg ID field. will scan another sample person. Sorry, like I said, this is an older barcode scanner. And it's not wanting to scan this one. So even if it doesn't want to scan this person, and I'll show you how much easier it is to use with the Checkin app, you can still go into the reg ID or first name and last name, and we're looking at another sample person, and we can search for this, and see they populate up. We go to edit check-in, and so all we have to do on bib number 1002, scans, checks in. So again, that is as simple as that in terms of how to check in both of these people 2 different ways with barcode scanners using WebCheckin. So if we want to see everybody, we just go back to here, and you can see the sample person and another sample person are both checked in. And you can go in and then run your reports, and now all of your reports are in the same place for and I've been playing with check-in. So if you go into your race day check-in and check-in stats, you see that, and I've checked in 3 people today already. So you can see that I've also been unchecking people in too. So you can see over time, and a few weeks ago, it's checking people into the same event as a demo. So again, you can see all of your, normally you wouldn't be checking it out tons of people as a demo race. So that's why we have previous data in here. So that being said, I just want to, while we're at it, for WebCheckin, does anybody have any questions about WebCheckin? Again, this is just for dynamic. We'll do an entire talk on WebCheckin settings, things like that. But does anyone have any questions about? And you can see on your control panel, you have the ability to type in questions. Do you have any questions about making sure your cursor, if you're scanning, if you're using a barcode scanner to search for people and scanning their registrations, you're not scanning the bib number when you're looking people up. You're scanning here on the reg ID, and you've got to make sure that your cursor is in this field. And so you can also, again, you can search by bib number or first name, last name, but and then you would scan once you're into edit check-in for one of these people. You would just scan the QR code or type in the QR code and hit check and save. If you're scanning it automatically, we'll check in and save for you. So any questions on that? I don't see any yet. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna uncheck these people in because I only pulled out 3 bib numbers. And so we'll end up checking some other people in. So again, we're going back in and we see that the mobile app is all set up. So I'm going to, on my app, get into, let's move this back. And so just so everybody knows where we are with the app, we go in and we're using this check-in, two-tone blue. We go into it, and for most of you, you will land on this page. I would suggest, like we talked about before, set your settings, and it defaults. I just deleted my database, but it defaults to RD check-in. So I would probably change this to crisp. And so I can go back to home, and then this is the race I'm in. So I go in, I would put my password in, and then all the people would populate. So I can either search at this point for someone. This only pulls in the first 100 people. So I could also scroll if it's a smaller event, or I could search for, say, Spider-Man. And so it comes up. And so now we've got Spider-Man. and I want to check in Spider-Man. So we can either type in bib number 4545 because we're not using, we don't have barcodes on our bibs. And so when we assign that and hit back, and now Spider-Man's checked in. So if you want to scan to find someone, we can now hit this right here. We can scan this same thing. I went so fast that you couldn't even tell. So I'll try to cover it up. So we're going to scan the same sample person. So as soon as I take my hand off, it's going to sync in and bring up sample person. So we're going to hit check in, and again, we could type in a bib number for this person. And again, that person now has a bib number assigned. And if we want to see in our participant list, it does take anywhere from, I don't know, 15 to 30 seconds for it to update. So it looks like we've already got that one. And then if we hit refresh in here, I don't remember who we just checked in, but they're sample person 555. So it's in there now. So let's say we want to check in this other person, another sample person. Again, I'm covering it up so we can keep it the same speed. So we go to check in, and now we want to use the QR code. So if we hit this camera at the top, and that's because that error came up because it was trying to scan the QR for the reg ID. So again, I'm covering this up. Oh, and it caught the one above it, which there's a tip for that. Yes, so I actually suggest always keeping the QR code, the bibs upside down, so it doesn't do exactly what just happened. So now I've got that bib up there, upside down. This one I've got covered up because I just want it to not go as fast as it goes. So as soon as I uncover it, it accepts that 1003. And then I'm going to hit the blue button, which is assign. And so now you can see another sample person is listed as 1003. So when I go into here and hit refresh, it might take a second. So again, it caches every like 15 to 30 seconds or so. And then it will be available. So it's probably in there now. There you go, 1003. So again, that's with using the iOS and dynamic bib assignment. Again, you can dynamically search for them, or you can search for them by QR code using this. And as soon as you hit check-in, there is a setting. Again, we'll go through Checkin app settings on another one, but there's a setting so you can set it that the camera auto opens. And as soon as you get it over top, it scans. So if we go in, we can also, just another quick way of looking at things, we can go to check-in stats, and we can look really quickly at who's checked in and who's not. So let's see, what happens if we take off the internet? Turn all of this off. No internet connection at the top, big red letters. So I'm going to check somebody in. All these people are already in the app, so obviously we're not connecting to the internet to get more people in. So I click on Silver Surfer. I want to check them in, and I want to use, I'm going to scan bib number 1001 and assign. So again, we have no internet connection, and Silver Surfer has been checked in. You can see right here, Silver Surfer's checked in. So now I'm gonna go up to here, and I'm gonna go to queued edits. So queued edits now has reg ID here is now 1001. So if I go to this person in the database, and you can search by this, I'm just scrolling down, you can see that this matches that. This 413922725 matches this, and what changed, these are the things that have changed. The bib number changed and the check-in changed, right? So what you need to do with this device then is you take it somewhere, as long as you don't go in and delete database, this will be stored in here. So I'm gonna go and get on a Wi-Fi, MiFi, whatever. So I'm gonna take it off of this. Everything should come back on. That's back on, okay. So still have no internet connection, and I'm going to go in and see now, you can see no queued edits. Sometimes you do have to pull down, just like you would on any other like social media or what have you, to refresh. But now this person's in, and if we hit refresh for Silver Surfer on this side, I think it was 1001. Yep, so now it's in there, 1001. So it does not delete your queued edits. Do not delete. They will still be in there. And it's just something to go check periodically if you are doing packet pickup. So just keep that in mind if you do have spotty internet, to check your queued edits. And if you do have queued edits, make sure that that is taken to somewhere, connected directly to a better internet source. So that is, granted, I realize there's a lot of other things on the Checkin app. There's a lot of other things on the on WebCheckin, and we're going to go through those kind of settings. But in terms of dynamic bib assignment, that is how you use the Checkin app for dynamic bib assignment, whether it be typing it in or using the camera to scan a bib number. And that is how for WebCheckin, that is how we use WebCheckin, both with a QR code scanner and just typing them in and searching. So this whole thing, I actually, and again, I'll pull this up one more time. It's just a USB scanner. It scans barcodes and QR codes. There's plenty on Amazon. This one's, it looks like it's $30. There's plenty of others available that you can test out. There is, let's see, do have a quick video on this process from an event. So she's looking up the bib. This guy didn't have his he didn't have his registration. She hands it back. You can see the bibs are upside down, flipped over. She hits the green check-in button, and boom, assigned. And then she writes the name on the back. So the whole process, this whole process takes about 33 seconds. She's answering a bunch of questions, handing things out, but realistically, with good staff, you can do this whole process in probably, I don't know, 10 to 15 seconds. And so you can figure out your scale from there in terms of how many devices you would need to run this. So again, there's questions on the side if you guys have questions about any of this. It's been quiet on the question front, and that's fine. Any other? Okay, well, if there's no questions, then feel free to reach out to me at CRISP@RunSignup.com if you do have questions. Be more than happy to help you out. And again, we'll be back next Tuesday. We're going to be doing some participant management on the back end of RunSignup. We have how to set up your check-in app, how to set up your web check-in, all kinds of different tools and tips and tricks that we'll be rolling out each Tuesday. So thank you guys for joining in. and look forward to catching up with you next week.